definitely got cut off by a phone call, but I'm gonna try to remember where I was at, right? So I've been on this raw food fast, and I realized that families don't really eat together anymore, you know? And that is really a lost art, right? Because when you spend time with, other people, you learn a lot about yourself. But when you spend time with your family, you can learn and understand where you come from, your familial patterns, or what are ancestral patterns that are being, repeated or relived, what have you. And so therefore giving you the power to be able to be aware of these cycles and these patterns, so that if you choose, you could break out of them, right? And it's just a blessing, because I really was like, raw food, vegan? I think not. But I'm strongly considering it, because the downloads, the ability to tap more into yourself and your mind and body, and have this stronger connection with your spirit, it's powerful. And I've been I pull cards, and I got this new deck for my birthday. It's actually a tarot deck, and I do oracle, and I got this as a gift, and it's an Orisha tarot. I'm actually going to show it to y'all. It is this, and I just fell in love with this, right? I fell in love with it, and it gives you like the story on the Orishas that are on the cards, and what their stories represent in relationship to the card. And it tells you what you should be aware of when delivering the message, whether it be for yourself or someone else when you're reading the cards. And then it provides solutions, which I was like, okay, cool. And it's things that I'm like, I already know. Like, I'm receiving this into my consciousness, but like a lot of times we're looking for confirmation. And I know I was a confirmation junkie, which now that I have become aware of that, I really do my best to not need external confirmation, because at the end of the day, we are going to need some sort of confirmation that we're going in the right direction. But also not overdoing it, and knowing when there's a difference between you receiving the knowledge and you acting on the knowledge, and being able to do both. So, and sooner rather than later, because a lot of times we know we're not supposed to do something. We know something is like, it's not going to be the best move for us, and then we'll do it anyway, just because we feel like playing with what we already know is on that timeline or in that scenario. You know how that's going to play out, but you did it anyway, right? And so when you either get tired of doing that and falling into that trap of self, you decide to go the other way and figure out how that goes, until maybe you got to go another way again. But every crossroads you get to, it's a direction you're going. And it's funny when I say crossroads, because the last video that I did, where I was talking about the fact that I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and he's been doing a lot of spiritual work for years. This is how I met him, and he's really evolved since then. That was like 2014, and we're in 2021, so he's really stayed on the path. And we were speaking, and I don't remember what we were speaking about, but I remember he gave me like 2 choices on a matter or a situation. I was like, or, because I'm not feeling either of those choices you gave me, so here's what I would do. And he was amazed that I was aware that I didn't have to abide by the choices he gave me. And I'm like, damn, that's sad that we live in a world where like a person making their own choices so foreign or shocking, like, oh wow, you knew you could make your own choice. And it's not easy being that person in this world, because so many people have this idea of how life is or should be, and they're not wrong, but that's your idea. And once you start trying to force people to live in your idea, is when we start to become aware of the what I would say the iniquity of man in trying to conquer someone's mind. And when you're able to conquer their mind, because the all is mind, if we're talking the universal laws or spiritual principles, the 7 hermetic laws, the first one says the all is mind, being that everything that you are experiencing in your reality is from the thoughts and the beliefs and the illusions and the, whatever your consciousness, whatever your really subconscious is, in alignment with and in belief of. And a lot of times we're not even aware of our subconscious thoughts. Like, a lot of people don't even try to get that deep. They don't even want to deal with their conscious. But subconscious, that's where it's really at. Because that's most of your mind. So the things that you're not even aware of you thinking is creating your whole reality. And so once you start reading and absorbing information and different text and really putting it together, you're just like, yo. You just have to laugh, because people are gonna think you're crazy. And when I look at people, other people think it's crazy, and sometimes I be thinking they're crazy. I'm like, oh, that's the trap again. Not allowing people to think what they think, and I understand, because the media has created an outlet a media that's created by a select few. Maybe 1%, maybe not even the whole percent, controlled the majority of media and information and the access to it. And so a lot of us are indoctrinated and trained to believe what someone or something wants you to believe, not questioning it, not thinking twice about it. And if you think 3 times, you'll get tres, like Hermes Trismegistus. And Hermes Trismegistus was actually one of the great scribes. Like, basically, Hermes, or I believe that's the Greek translation of his name. Don't quote me on that, because I could be wrong. But it's a specific, language from which that translation of the name comes. But it's basically like saying he's the great of the greats of the greats. And he was a scribe, meaning he basically wrote the story of history. Like, he had access to what might be known as the Akashic records. The Akashic records basically being the metaphysical writing of history and the story. And there are people who can really tap into the Akashic records. I don't know how that goes. I don't know if these people, I don't know what that experience is like. I don't know if it's just something that they tap into and then they hear messages or they see stuff. I guess it depends on your gift. But this is where everything that's ever occurred, in the histories of histories is recorded. It's spirit, and the nature of spirit is all encompassing. It is all pervasive. And the Kabbalion, there's a point where it says, like, the all, or spirit, or God, it's so many different ways that we characterize this thing, is unknowable. And I believe, and this is just my belief, because you have to really go read this for yourself and be able to go back and read it again and read it again and read it again, because your consciousness is constantly shifting, right? Your consciousness is constantly shifting. You're constantly getting to a new point of realization or perspective. And so you're always going to be able to receive more the more you continue to grow. And so it's going to resonate differently for different people based on their own consciousness, on their own vibration, on their own frequency. And so y'all have to really go read this for yourself, the Kabbalion. You can get that on PDF for free. And really read these universal laws, because it's going to teach you about the nature of life and reality itself, and how you can use your mind to shift the whole paradigm. And I was just having all these deep thoughts, and mind you, like, it's really the food. It's really the food that is blocking a lot of y'all from tapping in, right? Because they have passed bills, Monsanto, for not selling or yeah, pretty much not to restrict the sales or eliminate the sales of heirloom seeds. Heirloom seeds being natural, you know, the seeds that come from the earth, whatever fruits and vegetables that were first here before man came doing what man did. You know, there were fruits and there were vegetables and they had seeds. Now they want to get rid of seeds to eliminate nature. It's relative. To eliminate the nature of things. To really disrespect nature. And that's why there's all these famine and earthquakes and hurricanes and tornadoes and tsunamis, is because they piss Mother Nature off. And there's only so long that you can abuse a thing before it starts to do what it needs to do to cleanse itself of the parasite, of the dis-ease. And so that's really what's going on in the world. We're not in harmony with nature, and this is our home. So it's crazy that they're waging war on our planetary home and expecting, like, I guess they wanted to destruct, because I'm not even gonna go too deep, because I could really go there, but the destruction of a planet that we need to be here. This is where we came. This is where we need to be, and to try to destroy it. And the food is major. The food is major. They put chemicals in the food. They spray over farmlands chemicals, so there can't be anything organic. And that's why I don't really care to go into the supermarket and try to search for organic, because they be lying. And when I took a class in college, it was like intro to business, and I remember our professor had us look up like beef war, banana war, and tomato war. I'm pretty sure those were the 3 wars, but I remember with the beef war, what happened was other countries realized that the United States of America, they had a lot of hormones and chemicals and preservatives that were in our food that were banned in other countries. They were putting that in our food. And then so they was like, okay, we're not going to put those in our food anymore. And they started labeling it hormone free. You know, they ran tests on it, the hormone free ones, and they still had the same stuff in it. And so this is the same country. This is the same country. The same country where it's like, do or die. It's really do or die, because we are in such a time. It is, I won't say it's it's kind of like a damn near Hitler period, but in the spiritual sense more so, not necessarily in the physical sense, because I don't feel like it's gotten to that level yet. But in a whole nother way, it really is. And it's a time to be alive, and I am amazed that I'm living through this with my mind, my body, and my spirit intact. Because if I didn't do the work that I was doing, oh my God, I would be the walking dead. And this is why they put this stuff on the television, because they want you to embody that energy. They want you to tap into that consciousness. And that's why it's so important about what you put into yourself, mind, body, and spirit. What you eat, what you think, what you watch. Everything you consume is going to impact you. It's going to affect you. There's going to be a result of your actions. And this is also what the Kabbalion teaches. And it's the denial of it that's what keeps people stuck. That's what keeps people trapped. And I've been feeling it on my spirit that I'm doing a major disservice to people to just not speak more, to not speak up more. And And I feel like there are people that are like, but you know, you say this, you say that. But I'm like, no, I could say more. I could really say more. And I had posted something today about, you know, the reward for fulfilling your purpose is greater than the sacrifice that people will say whatever they're going to say about you. And it doesn't really matter, like, whether you're doing good or bad. People are going to have something to say. So you might as well be doing what your soul is calling you to do. This is just what it is. And I really want to live my life by that. I want to live by that, and I want to die by that. And I remember putting in my my senior yearbook, I was like, I quoted Fabulous. I was like, I'd rather hold my head high and die than live in duck. I'm pretty sure that's what he said on this in Soul Tape, one of the Soul Tapes. I'd rather hold my head high and die than live in duck. And I felt that, like, I wanna be a person of integrity and standards. And you know, I feel like we don't really realize that we live by other people's standards and values. And that's something that came into my spirit. Like, I have to create my own standards and values because I'm a different type of being. I'm not like everybody else. And so I have to create that for myself, something that honors me in mind, body, heart, soul, and spirit. And like my and it's so important to be in that type of alignment, because once one is out of, it's like everything feels out of whack. And I can perceive that. I can see when that's happening. So it's like, I really have to do the work. Like, I really have to do the work. And it's something I can't run from. It's just my calling. And so I am going to really push myself, not just for me, but for those who need a message, whatever the message is. Because sometimes I think I know what I'm going to say, and then it'd be like, where was you going? But it just is what it is. It just is what it is. So shout out to everybody who stuck through this whole, I don't even know, stuck through this whole video. And, you know, receive whatever they need to receive. Blessings to you. All right. It's your girl, Phonetic Wisdom. Love y'all.